Hello everyone, my name of course is Resonant, and welcome back to another video. Now, you may remember about 5 or so days ago, maybe a few more, I did a video on Of Kings and Men, and normally I don't really like doing the same game in really close together. I like to spread out my games, so for example, if I make a Mount & Blade Bannerlord video, next time I'll make something on Warband or a different game, and I normally spread out the same sort of content between like a week or so apart, so you don't get too much repetitive content, so you guys have enough stuff that really tries to acquire for everyone's needs. But I did this video on Is Kings and Men Dead? Now, at the point of making that video, yes it was, and there was a lot of good feedback from you guys. I really like to see what your thoughts were on it, and what you actually thought about the game and what it could do to improve it. But a couple of days ago, a few days after I made that video, they released an update. Now, this video is basically going to go over the update, some of the patch notes, and some of the things that I've noticed that have recently been added into Of Kings and Men that are probably going to help this game a lot. So I'm just going to be going over, is this new update worth it, and has it made this game playable again? Hopefully we can get some player base back into this at some point, but is this the update that has granted that? We will now see. Right, so as I first started up this game, I was thinking, what would they have added into this new update? So first what I started, I looked at the epic. So I clicked on the epic, and I found our first problem. Now, I don't know for definite that this is a problem with the update, or if it's just me. I'm gonna say it's something to do with the update, because I tried 4 or 5 times to get the epic working. And as you can see, every time I click on the epic, there's just a white screen, and nothing happens, and I have to restart the game. So, for what it looks like, not only did they add the epic in and not really put any content in it, they've now completely taken it out, which is probably for the better, because it's kind of mislaying people. If you have the epic there and there's nothing really to do, people are never really going to come back to it at any point. So if they completely take it out and then put it back in once it's completely finished, I think that's probably the better business decision. But yeah, so that's kind of where the epic is going at the moment. I don't know if that is literally just my game, if that's just the update on my computer. I don't think it is though. I'd love to see what you guys think. If you guys load up this game and you click on the epic, tell me what happens for you, because I really want to see. Now obviously they probably will fix this very soon, or at least they will tell us something about when the epic is going to probably come out and when they've finished it, but something tells me that's not going to be for a while, since the amount of detail that they put into the epic that they said in the gameplay trailers that we saw, I don't think they're going to be able to put that in anytime soon, so it might be quite a while for that. I then decided I'd go on to the actual game, and we have the thing is with these kind of bugs is I don't know if this is just my computer or it is the actual update itself, because I've got a decent computer, right? I've got a GTX 970, an i5 4690K, which is like the top of the range i5, one of them at least. So I've got a pretty beast computer. I can run pretty much any games at high or ultra settings, depending on what it is, of course. And I can play Of Kings and Men at the full settings at 40, 50, 60 FPS, depending on the map and, of course, players and certain things like that. But I clicked on play game, and as you can probably tell on the screen, it takes so long for it to render in the textures. Now, I do have it installed on a hard disk. I don't have an SSD for this game yet, but surely it shouldn't take this long to load in some basic textures like this. So maybe that's something they can tweak, but once again, I don't know if this is my computer. So these first few bugs that I'm talking about, take it rather lightly, and I want you to go and test them out yourself if you have this game. Don't say definite this is what happens, because it might just be a computer client side thing. So yeah, it took quite a while to load in the textures, and once I had, it crashed. Great, good start to the new update of the new game. Now once again, this could be just my computer sort of thing. But once I finally got it running, I finally got it all working, I was actually quite impressed with what they'd done. Now, they have really enhanced character creation. There is an extremely in-depth character creation screen now. As you can see on screen, you can do stuff from changing the width of your torso, changing your chest, to changing how big your man boobs are. I know that is actually a setting I was kind of playing with around. I was kind of playing around with it, as you can see on screen. You can even change how big your bulge is. I know. That is how in-depth this character creation is going for Of Kings and Men. So there is a really in-depth character creation. It has the slider sort of thing, a bit like Mount & Blade Warband. I'm really impressed with this. You can do every single tiny little part of your body. You can even change the width between your toes, how much space there is between your big toe and the rest of your toes. It's so weird, but it's so cool, and I'm really glad they decided to put this really in-depth character creation. And I have seen some very strange and questionable characters in game, and I'm looking forward to see what kind of stuff people can create. So apart from the character creation, they have also put in some leveling up. Now, you get coins when you do stuff in game, when you kill people, I guess, and you get XP and stuff like that. And when you get coins, there is now a shop, and in this shop you can of course buy armor, you can buy weapons, clothing, and all that good stuff. Hopefully this does not mean they're going to add in some sort of microtransactions in the future. The problem with an in-game shop is you're paying with in-game coins, which is good, which you do get from battle, and there doesn't look like there's anything there so far, which is a good sign, and I really don't think there will, since this is a full-paid game, it's not a free-to-play game. The problem with having an in-game shop in some games is companies like to put in microtransactions where you buy coins and then you can buy stuff in the shop. But it doesn't look like that's going to happen with the Kings of Men. It's just a wary thing you might want to look out for in case it does happen, but I really don't think it will. So yes, you have coins that you can buy stuff with in the shop. You also have a leveling up system where you get XP in the game and you level up certain ranks. With those ranks, you get certain points you can spend on things such as your movement speed. You can also spend it on your attack speed and strength and all that sort of generic things. But I think it's really nice to see, so you can have some leveling up characters. Now, the problem with this that you may find in game is I'm not sure how the server filters work, whether it puts players together with the same sort of level or it's just everyone in the server. Because what I have seen is people with a lot of armor, a lot of heavy strength weapons and things like that going up against peasants in tunics, which I don't know if that's a bad sign that the server filter's not quite as it should be. But I guess we'll have to see in the future. Obviously, I don't know for definite who they pair together. Hopefully, we will see something where we have people with around the same sort of XP together. But then that kind of leads me on to the next point, which it could have a problem with that. Now, there is a party system in of Kings of Men now. So, of course, if you know any other game, party systems means you can invite your friends from Steam, you can join your parties, and when you join a game, they will join with you. They'll be on your team, so you can play with your friends, which is really nice. But that means that there'll be friends with certain skill levels. For example, if you're like level 1 and your friend's been playing for a while and they're like level 12 or something, that might be a bit of an issue if you want to play in the same party. That means there's going to be like level 12 people with level 1. So going back to my previous point, we might have high skilled level players playing against the lower skill level players. So that might be something to watch out. But when you click on the join server, now you have a lot more choice in the server host countries. We have Australia, we have many places in Asia. Normally, before it was just like East Asia and West Asia and that sort of thing. But now we have individual countries in Asia, which is really nice to see that they've got hosting companies all around the world now. So it means where no matter where you are, you shouldn't have a problem with getting some low ping gameplay. And once I was in the game, I was happy to see players had started to come back. I was playing in a game where I think it was 16 or 15 on each max player, so it was about a 30-man game. And the server was almost full. I think there was like 2 or so missing from each side. But I was really happy to see that the server was almost full. The population was starting to come back with the Kings of Men because of this new update. And I'm really happy to see that. I really hope that more updates come out which will bring people back into the game. And hopefully we will get a good player base going before the Epic is released fully and we get what we were actually promised, which I'm really excited to see. But good job to the Donkey crew for adding in this stuff so far. Now, going through some of the patch notes, some of the things that they have added in. The spears before, they were quite unbalanced. They seemed quite OP. Of course, you've got longer range with spears, but then you kind of have to, normally, you kind of have to compensate with less damage or certain types of attacks. You can normally only thrust with a spear. But before, they were kind of OP, and thankfully, they have done some balancing, so they're a bit more balanced with that. The base health for the player is actually increased, so you're not always going to die in one hit anymore. That was a bit of a problem. You'd charge into battle with your mates, and you'd normally have to run quite far as well. The maps were fairly big, and you'd come and you just get sliced once by a greatsword, and you'd go down. But the base health has been increased. Of course, that doesn't affect the armor. Armor will, of course, increase your health and resistance, but the base health for the player has been increased, so you will be able to take a bit more damage, and duels will last a bit longer. Now, something I did notice is when you started before, you normally got a tunic and a club or so, or a bow and arrow, and you got fairly light stuff. Now, they have recently added in for the new update, there's a huge choice of heavier starter items. Like you can see, I'm now wearing chainmail. got a big axe and I'm charging into battle. So it's really nice to see that they have a choice of heavier starter items, but what I have noticed is there's a big emphasis on heavy armor to speed. So of course if you're wearing heavy armor like I am, you are going to be a lot slower than some of the guys wearing no armor or basic tunics and stuff like that. I think that's a really nice dynamic in the game. So there isn't really sprint in the game. It just depends on what armor you are wearing. So you have to choose between agility and speed, or strength and resistance. So that is a really nice thing you can choose between. They have also got in shouting now. They did have shouting before, but it's kind of just random shouting. If you press C, it'll bring up a menu, sort of a bit like the menu in the Persistent World mod from Mount & Blade, if you have ever seen that. You can choose between like passive or defensive or aggressive shouting. So it's quite cool. You can communicate with your allies like that. I don't know how much communicating will actually be done through that, but it's something nice to have in there nonetheless. So apart from that stuff, there's just been some generic server fixes with people crashing on servers and some bugs with the joining and starting of servers and some sound enhancements in the game as well. So overall, I think this is a really nice update. Of course, it's brought players back into the game, which is always a good sign. As long as the company can keep bringing out updates that will bring people back in, I think we're going to have a solid player base back up and running like it was when it first came out. So I really recommend you guys go and checking out this update if you haven't already. I would say only if you have the game so far. I wouldn't go out of your way to buy the game just for this update. You might want to wait a bit, and I will carry on giving you information about new updates coming out, so you can then decide when this game is worth the buy if you haven't done already. But if you have the game already, I definitely recommend you guys going and checking out this update, playing a bit, telling me, giving me your feedback. Leave it down in the comments below. I really love to hear your thoughts. But like always, if you have any more suggestions for videos, just leave them down in the comments and I will definitely get around to doing them. So if you enjoyed this video, guys, remember to leave a like on the video. You know what to do if you didn't. And stay subscribed to the channel for more updates on Of Kings and Men, Mount & Blade 2, Bannerlord, and games as the like. But until then, I will see you in the next one.